Hey everybody, Rob from Karma Comic Chameleon coming at you with another Ask Reddit thread. What highly illegal thing took place at your high school? Let's jump right in. 6 or so years ago, before jewels were even a concept, a buddy of mine would buy disposable e-cigarettes online in bulk and then sell them to other students at a huge profit margin. He did this all the way through graduation and never got caught somehow. Dude had to have made at least 10K over time doing that. He was the plug and sold those things like there was no tomorrow. There was also the geometry teacher who got caught sending pickle pics to freshmen. I have absolutely no idea how, but he somehow managed to keep his job. Pre-internet days, kinda, CDs were a thing. I had a massive CD collection in a giant book in my locker. I typed up lists of all the artists and albums I owned, so I had these flyers everywhere, and for $3 a CD, I'd burn you a copy. This was right when CD burners came out, and my stepdad was super into the latest and greatest tech, so we had the cool gadgets when they came out. I eventually was caught, but for a time, I made killer money. A teacher sexually harassed like 12 students. The issue is, everybody loved that guy. He won Best Teacher Award like 2 days before his arrest. A teacher was caught having sex with an autistic student. I believe he claimed to have loved her. Her dad was also a teacher at the same school, and he left after the incident came out. Little bit of backstory first. Our school had a big renovation ongoing, and because of that, almost half of the school was closed down. The closed part included the biggest bathrooms, and because of that, the school administration ordered 2 toilet barracks to be placed on the schoolyard. So some 7th to 9th graders decided to buy some toilet pipe opener liquid, I don't know what is the correct term, and aluminum foil. They put the aluminum foil inside some plastic bottles and poured a little pipe opener in them with the foil. As someone has probably done this before, knows what is going to happen next, they stuck 6 bottles total inside the toilet bowls in every stall of one barrack and blew them up due to the chemical reaction between the foil and the opener. All the pipings of the single barrack were destroyed due to water pressure inside the pipes. Turns out that the 2 barracks had connected pipings, and the water that was in the bowls in the other barrack shot up to the ceiling due to pressure. The students never got caught, and if I remember correctly, the incident ended up costing a hefty amount for the school administration. The barracks were taken away and were replaced with new ones. After the incident, every recess, there was a teacher in front of the barracks monitoring everyone going in and out. Nothing happened to the new toilets. There were 4 freshmen in the bathroom stall just vaping, and a teacher came in, so they freaked out and didn't want to get in trouble, so they thought calling the cops on the teacher for harassment would get them out of trouble. They got expelled an hour after the cops arrived. A film crew lied about what kind of film they were making. Turns out it was porn. So my high school is the setting of the film The Cheerleaders. Pretty sure that's illegal. Yeah, it's pretty tame. What do you want from me? I live in Cupertino. 2 kids had sex in the toilets a few years ago, and other 2 kids burnt a desk inside the class. This was middle school, but our computer teacher was fired after they caught him watching porn in the computer lab during lunch. Rumor has it, he was watching on the big projector screen they use for teaching. Playing unblocked games. We had a science teacher say, "If you don't put goggles on, I'm going to have to spray you in the eyes with Lysol," which was probably not illegal until the student tried to call her bluff. She wasn't bluffing. Grew up in a small town. When a lamb got sick and was dying, our AG teacher just had us go out behind the classroom building and shoot it. We ended up pulling a massive tapeworm out of it. Definitely not legal to have guns on campus, let alone use them. Drama teacher slept with the hottest chicks in class and nothing ever happened to him. A teacher and an administrator embezzled millions. I didn't even know all this happened until years after graduation. Some of my friends had the teacher in question. My teacher was molesting my 14-year-old classmate for a while. He went to jail and is still there 20 years later, because another past victim came forward. So that's pretty illegal. I interviewed to teach at a high school once. One of the questions from the school board was, can you avoid sleeping with your students? Yes I can. School board thinks I'm great, principal thinks I'm great, superintendent of schools doesn't think I'm cut out for the job, gives me the runaround. Principal is trying to help me push through it and get hired, but I finally give up and get a normal job elsewhere. Superintendent hires his nephew, wonder why he gave me the runaround, who promptly has sex with a student and gets fired. I still see the principal occasionally and he always apologizes. I wanted to hire you. He was way too nice to have been stuck at that lousy school. Our football coach took off with one of the girls in the high school and moved to Mexico and married her. He had a wife and kids. They then hired a brand new football coach who was 23 years old. Before the end of his first year, he was hooking up with an 18-year-old senior girl. They also took off and went somewhere. We went without a coach for a couple years. A special ed kid got jumped by a dude on his way to school and was beaten bloody. The whole thing was recorded by the guy's girlfriend and her friend. The whole time they were cheering him on, yelling things like "World Star" and so on. She later posted it on Instagram, which pissed off everyone, and just about everyone wanted to beat the dude up in the vid. He was given temporary suspension, effing BS, while the police took care of him. From what I know, he was given an assault charge. Also, side note, there was a girl at my school who was in minor league boxing who was ready to beat him up. She even tried looking for him by his house. Had a pretty controversial case involving a handicapped student who had cerebral palsy and muscular dystrophy. His parents filed a lawsuit accusing two of his handlers of abusing him by dumping him out of his chair and forcing him to wear a neck brace so he'd look them in the eye. Worst part was, I don't think the handlers suffered any consequences. I looked up articles on it, and all of them highlight the abuse and lawsuit, but none follow through with the results, which is frustrating. The cheerleaders got caught selling morphine. The football team got into a brawl with a rival school at a local pizza place over said morphine scandal. A huge fiasco over a kid putting baking soda and vinegar in a test tube and sealing it and taping it under a lunch table till it exploded. Over spring break one year, the entire hockey team and the cheerleaders all went to rehab. The goalie was dealing coke to all of them. The principal hired a bunch of students to sell steroids at the local gym. Same principal gave the same students a list of kids who were questioning their sexuality with the counselor before GSAs were a thing, and they all had their lockers bashed in with a baseball bat. One of the kids had his parents notified and was beat within an inch of his life. Art teacher used to hotbox her classroom and then use the kiln fam to pull all the smoke out. My golf coach got arrested in Kansas for driving with a spare tire full of cocaine. Idiot, you put air in tires. To be fair, someone told him he needed snow tires. Not highly illegal, but not legal either. I figured out how to make fake IDs in my home darkroom and showed a friend how to do it. This was in the early 70s, before Photoshop, when analog darkrooms and chemical-based photography were the only option. He went into production in the school darkroom, his quality sucked, he got caught. My quality was excellent, but I only made one for me. Kids were selling candy and snacks to other students, obliterating the monopoly that the vending machines once held. Administration cut that stuff out real quick. This year, the fire alarm's gone off twice because of kids smoking weed in the bathroom. Freshmen vape in plain view of teachers and no one cares. Someone got shot during after-school drug deal a couple months ago. Half my school burned down because some idiot thought it would be a good idea to light a wrestling mat on fire. Pro tip, wrestling mats are very flammable. Weren't able to have sports all year, talent shows and concerts in the auditorium. Benefit was we got 2 weeks off from school while they vented and cleaned up the mess. All I can remember was the kid was a minor, so the parents pretty much owed millions to the school. Well, I can definitely relate to some of these. Back in high school, I was the go-to guy for cigarettes and some other things. This is Rob from Karma Comic Chameleon saying thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share the video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.